Hello and welcome to Rome 2 Total War. Here we see my Epiran general leading off his army from his unit of royal peltasts here. There is another unit of royal peltasts on my far flank. In the middle are 3 pikemen screening 3 mercenary Cretan archers, and I have 2 Illyrian levies as a support and flanking force. My cavalry is mixed 3 Thessalian cav and 2 Aspis companion cav. Patrick's army here has a mixed force of cavalry, legionary, and equites. 5 units of them, about 5 or 6 units of mixed heavy infantry. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe it's 7 or 8 units of mixed heavy infantry. Auxiliary cohort on each flank, or an auxiliary infantry. On each flank, Vigiles as a screening force, and 4 Syrian archers. Out in front of us we have the Nervii. They have a couple of little Celtic skirmisher units and a mixed line of fierce swords and a couple of units of Oathsworn. 5 very dangerous cavalry units over here. 4 heavy cavalry, mighty horse rather, and 1 noble cav, noble horse, whatever the hell they're called. Noble horse. There's also a couple of units of spearmen running around there. And there's an Arevaci army consisting mostly of Scutarii, with a couple of Scutarii spearmen, Balearic slingers as skirmishers, and a mixed force of cavalry, anywhere from your light Iberian cavalry all the way up to your noble type cavalry. So the name of the game at the outset is make the most of our skirmishers. We've got 7 to their 5, and 2 of theirs are these short range javelin units here. So I'm not really too scared of these guys, honestly. As long as they don't sit there and get a bunch of volleys into my pikes, I'm not really worried about what they're going to do. I am concerned about this very strong force of cavalry coming to my flank. So Patrick, fortunately, was kind enough to send all 3 of his units of legionary cavalry over here to reinforce my cavalry. Now, I might be able to beat him head to head with my 5 cavalry, but I'd rather not take that chance. And with the mix of cavalry that the Arevaci player has taken, we're a little less concerned about aggressive action because he's got some of these Celtiberian cavalry and this unit of Iberian cavalry mixed in. And he's keeping his noble cavalry somewhat to the rear because that's his general's unit. So I'm going to help Patrick try to knock out these Balearic slingers early in the fight, try to gain a skirmish advantage, and spend as long as we can working over these, somewhat less armored Iberian units. So look, here comes a pretty nasty volley. It's just going to chopping these guys down. Look at that. Arrow right to the head. Just, yeah. He's done. Also, these these Celtic skirmishers made a run for it, so I retargeted on them to try to discourage them. I'm going to take a good volley of javelins here, and actually lost quite a few archers in that. But these Celtic skirmishers aren't going to be able to hold up to that for long. Now, with all these infantry moving around my flank, you see here, pretty much all his infantry's moved over here except these 2 units of fierce swords. So I'm just going to deny this flank and bend back, try to hold him back while we continue to skirmish. He's going to bring these mighty horse in, and he's going to do quite a bit of damage to these Illyrian levies, which I did get into shield wall, which is one of the reasons they held so well against that charge. These guys did their job perfectly. Yeah, they lost a lot of guys and didn't really do any damage. The damage came from missile fire. See, they're taking a lot of heavy shot right now from the Cretans. But these Illyrian levies did exactly what I needed them to do at that point of the battle. Keep the mighty horse from getting a clean charge on our combined cavalry, and keep them the hell away from my skirmishers. And actually, now that all of this Nervii infantry is moving this way, I'm just going to start bringing my line out. And as long as Patrick can keep the enemy cavalry from coming through the middle and hitting me in the rear, I'm perfectly willing to take this fight just like that. He does have a couple units of equite over here who can help pin these guys down, and he's got a couple of spear units floating around here and here who can contribute as well. And his main force is just kind of holding pat, or standing pat, or holding ground, or however you want to say it, while these skirmishers can get the job done. You see they're already targeting infantry units, having basically run out of skirmishers to target. And they're hitting these noble fighters, which is a great idea, as these are a very dangerous unit if they get into combat. So in any case, the Nervii has charged me with these fierce swords, and you see me targeting these Oathsworn with lots of heavy shot. I'm trying to take these guys out because my Royal Peltas could stand up to them reasonably well, but I really don't want them getting involved in a fight for too long. So let's get back to real time as things start to happen. So I'm just swinging the pikes around, and I'm going to try to get him into all these swords over here. So you see I'm giving an attack order here and just swinging these guys out, and I'm going to try to pin these units in place against my swords. Meanwhile, we got a big cavalry charge here. I can't give any more ground because it's going to get behind my troops. So that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to engage here. You see, a couple of these mighty horse did slip through and got at my archers. But I have to focus here, and this is where Patrick's units are going to come in real handy, and they're going to run in and intercept these units, and they're going to hold off these Oathsworn and mighty horse for some time. Now you see, this unit of mighty horse is going to crack fairly quickly. It's fighting Aspis companions to the front, took a nasty rear charge from these Thessalian cav. Now I'm going to pull them back out of this fight to engage these mighty horse and try to get the most of their charge, kind of charging them back and forth. Now this one Nervii spear unit did a good move and got into this fight, and it's going to help do some damage to my Aspis companions, but it's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough in the long run. So the cav fight's going my way, and these pikes have gotten completely around behind these Oathsworn and stabbing them in the back. It's just the way we like it. So he's going to bring out this mighty horse. They disengaged from that other fight. They didn't get a great charge off of my pikemen though, but they're going to start to cut him down if we don't do something about it. So you see I'm bringing over these Thessalian cav who've got free from that other fight, and they got a rear charge off. Didn't get a great charge off either, but it's going to keep these mighty horse from focusing completely on my pikemen, who have taken a fair number of losses from them, because they haven't really lost many guys from the front, even though they're fighting Oathsworn. So really this Fierce Sword and Oathsworn are getting kind of penned in here by pikes and Royal Peltists. And Patrick's cavalry's done a great job holding these guys off for me, but they're not going to be able to stand against these Oathsworn, and they are going to rout. One of my units of Royal Peltists, I sent them out here to engage these Fierce Swords. I got kind of flanked and beat up, but they did their job. They held those Fierce Swords from flanking me from this direction. And one of the Illyrian levies also came out here to try to help. So seeing that Patrick is over here fully engaged, and this is just kind of chaos, he lost most of his cavalry to this Iberian type cavalry. So I'm going to try to bring these units, since they're away from this fight anyway, I'm going to try to bring them over and help out, including this unit of Thessalian cav that's been pretty well beaten up. You see in the backfield here, this Oathsworn did destroy those cavalry, but now they've got Cretan archers on every side of them. They can't catch them, and there's not much they can do, since no matter what they do, at least one of these units is going to be shooting them in the back. So they just got cut down basically to a man by skirmishers, which is just the way you want to deal with those guys. And this other unit of Oathsworn is hanging on, but the Aspis companions have come out of that fight having finally finished off that noble horse. Took a while to take them out, and got a nice rear charge on these Oathsworn, so they're going to not be able to hold into this fight for much longer, and these Royal Peltists are destroying these naked spears and keeping them out of the fight. So now it's only a matter of time before I'm able to bring those guys in. These noble horse, or noble cavalry, had taken their opportunity to come around the fight here and try to engage these skirmishers. My Thessalian cav had come into the fight to try to rid us of them, I should say. And my swords I kind of got ahead here. I was trying to watch too many different theaters at once, and the swords got a little aggressive, so those Royal Peltists that got beat up earlier are going to take a beating and rout. But these pikemen are going to get in good position, and they're going to be able to hold these guys pretty much indefinitely. And these Illyrian levies aren't going to last much longer, but I kind of knew that when I sent them in. So we're going to try to get some rear charge with the cavalry and keep all these forces tied up so they can't flank Patrick while I'm bringing the rest of my troops over. So now Patrick's forces that are free in the area, that don't have to engage those guys, are coming over. So now he's got legionary cohort flanking these Scutarii units, and they'll eventually take these guys out. And his center is also pushing into these the Iberian cavalry that came up to reinforce, and the Scutarii. These units aren't going to be able to stand terribly well in a toe-to-toe fight with legionary cohorts, especially two of them at once. The Vigiles and auxiliary infantry aren't going to contribute a whole hell of a lot. And my Aspis companions have run over, and you can tell I'm looking at something else. So they're going to try to join in this fight and take out the cavalry. Meanwhile, the skirmishers, my skirmishers were helping take out the noble fighters here that had been just trashing these auxiliary infantry. You see these guys celebrating their sudden deliverance from a horrible, horrible stabbing. So those rear charges from the Thessalian cav were able to break all these troops over here. And these pikemen are still quite healthy, considering. And now it's just a matter of kind of piling into this fight and finishing up the noble cavalry. So kind of a lot going on there. Sorry I wasn't really able to show it all. I hope I was able to do the battle some justice, as there's quite a lot of activity all over the place. See, my pikes did not a ton of damage, but they tied up some very tough units, helped take down those Oathsworn, and didn't really suffer any losses. The Illyrians didn't hardly do any damage, but they did a great job at stopping that mighty horse charge. Stopped it cold. It was a very timely moment in the battle, and gave my cavalry a chance to engage. And my Royal Peltists both did quite well, although this one got caught on its own and destroyed. Yeah, now I would have had a much more interesting time of it without the assistance of Patrick's Legionary Cav, and some of these units got pretty well thrashed. So it was quite a cost to him, but it definitely helped me win my fight fairly handily and still have my fairly powerful cavalry forces remaining to bring back into the fight. So you see, most of his infantry did quite well. I mean, Roman heavy infantry against the Arevaci. It's technically heavy infantry, I think, but it's more like medium type infantry just because they're armored. Tends not to be very good on these Iberian units. But they're going to fare quite well in fights against those kind of units. They're just going to wear them down over time. Now this one, I think, got trapped and flanked at some point partway through the battle. But in any case, very interesting battle. As you see, a lot of activity, considering it was only a 10-minute battle. A lot of maneuvering, a lot of counter-attacking and counter-attacking. So, good game. Good game to everybody. Thanks again to Patrick for playing alongside me. And a good game to Liquid Propane 86 and Imperator. So if you like this video, please go ahead, hit the like button below this video, comment, subscribe, etc. and whatnot. I am Southern Wolverine, and I'd like to wish all of you a good day.